Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Wade Cube and today we're going to be talking about my Nintendo Switch 2 wants and predictions. So we'll just jump right into it. So I have a list of different things I wanted to go over, and this will just be kind of me rambling about things that I think would be cool to see in the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2 presentation. So yeah, I love Nintendo and things. GameCube, of course, is my favorite particular system, but I loved all the different generations of Nintendo consoles and handhelds growing up. And my Switch, of course, too. It's a great platform. And so many iconic games and series as well. So yep, a lot of what you're going to be seeing is just some random gameplay footage and things like that. That would be cool. And some music to tie into my different topics that I wanted to discuss in terms of both games and just things that I think we'll see in general at the presentation. So yeah, well, let's just get locked in and talk about my wants and predictions. So to start off with, the first thing I would be interested in seeing is actually a Wario World sequel. So I loved Wario World growing up, and he's one of my favorite characters from the Mario franchise, so it'd be really cool to see that particular game return, because we've gotten a lot of like WarioWare type games and things like that, and it's unfortunate to where we never got a full-on sequel to Wario World. I know it didn't do, I don't think, extremely well on the GameCube, because a lot of games didn't as much because it wasn't as well performing of a system compared to Nintendo's other consoles. But I thought it was really cool and unique. It was this fun, like, action-adventure kind of like beat-em-up type gameplay, which is really cool. So a little unfortunate that we haven't seen any of that happen, most likely because maybe Treasure and Nintendo, who Treasure created and developed Wario World, they haven't really made any games together as much anymore, it seems. So I don't know how likely that's going to be to return, but that would be one of my personal wants because I love that game growing up. So yeah, so that's the first thing I want to talk about. The next thing is I would love to see Star Fox Adventures. So that's another fantastic game I grew up with on the GameCube. I know it's not known as the best Star Fox game or even a Star Fox game at all to a lot of people, based on the whole history, which you're probably aware of, where it wasn't supposed to be a Star Fox game. Originally, it was going to be its own original title called Dinosaur Planet on the Nintendo 64, developed by Rare, but then it got changed during mid-development, with Rare being bought up by Microsoft and Nintendo, in my opinion, in theory, saving the game by having, and the IP in general, be turned into a Star Fox game, because Saber, the main character in Dinosaur Planet, looks similar to Fox as well. So with that being said, Star Fox Adventures is a great game. That was my first Star Fox game, so I am a little bit biased in terms of that particular series, but I would love to see that return on Switch 2. I think that'd be great. How likely is that can happen? I'm not going to get my hopes up at all, because Nintendo has mostly been focused on like rebooting Star Fox a lot too, and we don't even know if we're going to get a new entry in the series as well. But I would love to see that have an HD remake or remade in some capacity, because Miyamoto and some other people at Nintendo, I think, still do like some of those characters within those franchises. So I don't know how likely that'll be, but I would personally really love to see it because it's one of my favorite games of all time. I would also be down for a brand new Star Fox game as well too, even though I do prefer actually the adventure gameplay hybrid with traveling to planets, as that is the different levels in Star Fox Adventures, to still give it that flavor-wise. And I love the soundtrack in that game in particular, too. I thought David Wise, who is one of my favorite composers, did an incredible job with that. But yeah, I think a new game would be great, too. I think Platinum Games, who's worked on Star Fox Zero, could take on a full new Star Fox game, or any other developers, I think, would be able to take a crack at it, too. Yeah, I'd be very curious to see maybe even Namco could come back, who created Star Fox Assault, which I also really enjoyed as well, too. Especially the multiplayer in that game. Having a remake of that I would also be down for as well. But yeah, Namco and Nintendo have a fantastic relationship, and it'd be really cool to see their team again tackle Star Fox in the modern age more, with it being HD and stuff like that too, which would be really cool. And just taking that next step. I know Star Fox Zero was HD as well too, but that was not as full of a sequel, I think, as people have wanted that to be. Like a new giant step into like the next iteration of Star Fox, you could say. So yeah, I think Star Fox Adventures port or sequel would be really cool. Or I guess what I mean to say is a new Star Fox game as well too, or a spiritual successor to Adventures I would also be down for. So yeah. The next topic, a brand new 3D Donkey Kong game. That's one of my other favorite franchises that I really enjoyed. I actually played the GBA versions of the Donkey Kong Country games. I never played the Super Nintendo ones originally when they came out. But I would be very interested to see a brand new Donkey Kong 3D game. We had Donkey Kong Country Returns that came out earlier this year, so I think that would have a lot of potential for a new entry too, and maybe there's a lot of different developers that could tackle that too as well. So I'd be really curious to see who would be creating that. Maybe Nintendo's internal teams, maybe third party. I'm not really sure. I would even love to see Retro Studios after Metroid Prime 4 if they would be down for doing that. So I don't know, but we would have to wait and see, I guess, in terms of that. But I know a brand new 3D Donkey Kong game. I love Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. That's one of my personal favorite games from the Donkey Kong series, and the original arcade game and such as well too. And I will say though, I'm not a massive fan of Donkey Kong's new design that's in the Mario Kart games that are coming out now with Mario Kart 9 or 10 or whatever the new one's going to be called that we're going to be seeing soon, which is exciting. I think Donkey Kong, his rare design I thought was so unique and distinct. Nothing against the original arcade design. I do like it. It just looks... I think it definitely takes some getting used to. I wasn't a big fan of it in the movie as well either, but yeah, I don't know. Just aesthetically, it doesn't really kind of feel as distinctive, I think, as like the rare design too. It feels like I lost some of that edge a little bit too. Looks a little too like soft and cartoony. I don't know. It just still feels like a bit of whiplash with that, but it'll probably be fine, I guess, overall. But I think a lot of other people do agree with me on that as well. So anyways, I think a new 3D Donkey Kong game, I think, is likely for sure to happen, I would hope. All right, and then the next game. I've been screaming this title to come back or out for ages. A new Kirby Air Ride sequel or remake would be really great. So maybe that's my theory of what Masahiro Sakurai's new game is, because for a while he's been teasing his new game for definitely quite a while, and I'd be curious to see what that project is. That could definitely be maybe something Kirby related if he comes back or tries to help assist the different developers there. So with that being said, yeah, I love Kirby Air Ride. That's one of my other favorite series growing up. That was my actually first Kirby game that I was introduced to. I thought it was really cool and innovative, and its impact has definitely been long-lasting throughout all future Sakurai games, especially. And I think some Kirby games too, because you even had like City Trial mode, which is my favorite mode in the game, be implemented in Smash Brothers Smash Run with the different pickups you can get, and having the characters from the universes actually appear as enemies, compared to maybe Subspace Emissary, where that was all original enemies, which I still do really love Super Smash Brothers Brawl as well. But regardless, I would love to see a Kirby Air Ride sequel or remake. I think both of those have a pretty high potential, because Kirby games generally seem to release every year. They try to get them out, and yeah, they've shown Kirby even in like different timelines and things like that have what's the word? In like visual timelines where they show off the different Kirby games throughout the years, and like anniversaries and things like that. It's always, I think, been acknowledged, but never like come back, unfortunately. But yeah, that would be really cool. And speaking of Sakurai's new game, people I've seen speculate that it could be a brand new Kid Icarus game or something to that nature. I'm not entirely sure what that could be, but I would be curious about that too. I did like Kid Icarus Uprising. I really do enjoy Sakurai's games, but that one I don't think I was as crazy about compared to Smash Brothers, of course, too, and such. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I really resonated with that particular game a lot, and I had so many great hours and adventures just playing around through the different games. So yeah, that's my other thought about that particular game series. Yeah. So then the next one would be actually a brand new, which has been confirmed already, a brand new SpongeBob game. I think that would be really cool. We've been hearing teases of the next game because we had Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated a few years ago, and that was really cool remake. I loved the original game growing up, so that was awesome to see a return to that. Alongside that, we had Cosmic Shake, which also came out a few years ago, and I think that did decently well. So I think the 3D SpongeBob collectathon platformers are really just solid games overall. So I'm curious to see if we'll definitely see more information about that, because SpongeBob games have always done, I think, relatively well overall. So yeah, I think we'll have to wait and see what comes to fruition for that. So crossing my fingers. Yeah, so I think that would be really cool, and I really enjoyed seeing the comeback of a lot of these Nickelodeon type games. So we'll see. That one would be cool. All right, and then the next game I wanted to talk about is a brand new Naruto Clash of Ninja game. So the Naruto series had a really interesting history, I think, in like the West. You saw it in like Toonami and stuff growing up on Cartoon Network and things. And then those coincided with these Naruto Clash of Ninja games, which were, before Ultimate Ninja Storm, these cool little 3D like arena fighters, which were a lot of fun to play around in. And what was cool about them is they basically were just these just really easy pick up and play casual fighting games, but also had enough depth to them and was faithful to the source material of Naruto as a series. And it went through the original Naruto series all the way up to Shippuden. And now, like the Ninja Storm games, they kind of went beyond that for Boruto and stuff like that. But I actually never really watched the show very much, or the anime for Naruto, but I remember seeing the commercials all the time and such. I love the video games, though. I thought the Clash Ninja games are phenomenal. They're really fun games that just kept getting more and more fleshed out as they went along. Yeah, I think that's a highly underrated series that I don't think enough people really talk about, unfortunately, because I don't know. I'm not really sure why. I think because Ninja Storm kind of succeeded it, but I don't feel like those games are as compelling compared to the original Clash Ninja games. And they feel too button mashy, or I don't know, like something like the feel is definitely off in those particular games. But I could see a potential return, because we've had games like Dragon Ball Sparking Zero come back, and Sparking Zero being a spiritual successor to the Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi games. But yeah, I'd love to see new Naruto Clash Ninja game. I love playing all of those games with friends, and I think that series is definitely still relevant to this day. And yeah, I think would have a lot of potential there too, as well. So highly recommend that series, and I would even take remakes of the Clash Ninja games too if they don't even want to make brand new sequels into that IP as well. So yeah, that's another one I thought about. All right, and then the next one. This one seemed pretty obvious, I think, for a lot of Nintendo fans. I'd love to see The Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker, and The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess port. And I I think those are likely because they completely skipped down the Switch, and we had Skyward Sword for HD, which was cool. But the thing that I found odd was we never got them on the base Switch, which is strange because Wii U had both games on it. So I felt like that seemed like a pretty easy port because they weren't very graphically intensive games, and they didn't really utilize the gamepad very much. And a lot of games from the Wii U were ported onto the onto this particular system for the Wii U and utilize those capabilities. So I don't know, I think it's time. And then again, just like Kirby, we've been seeing a Zelda game they try to release, I think, every single year. And it'd be cool if they I think wanted to flesh that out or do something along those lines. And I love Wind Waker, Twilight Princess. They were some of my first Zelda games that I played, and left a really big impact on me playing with my friends. And actually, a funny story about that, I remember when I played Twilight Princess for the first time, and my friend had the Wii version, and I actually had the GameCube version. And if you know where this is going, it's pretty funny. If you know that the Wii version, the game is mirrored compared to the GameCube version. So, Link is like left-handed in the GameCube version, and he's right-handed because most people are right-handed in the world. So I remember getting stuck at different portions of the game and being frustrated that I was lost or stuck, and they would tell me like I was an idiot or I didn't know what I was doing, but it was just because the games were pretty different in those regards to just trying to understand how they worked, which was funny. But I'd love to see both of those games make an appearance on Switch, so we'll have to I think we'll have to wait and see in regards to that as well. Alright, so the next game I want to talk about is a brand new Rayman Raving Rabbids party game. So, to break it down, I love the Rabbids games a lot. I think they're fantastic, and really, I think underappreciated. I think people kind of write them off as just Minions knockoffs, but they actually came first before the Minions from Illumination. So, I will say too, though, I never played a Rayman game before, or I didn't even know who he was until he showed up in the Rabbids game. So I played the first one on the Wii alongside the second game, which is my favorite of the entire series. I also love TV Party as well too, which is also incredible. And Travel in Time and Rabbids Lane on the Wii U, which was pretty decent. And then we eventually got Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which was really different than a lot of the other Mario games especially, and Rabbids games too. And I enjoyed the games. I still need to play Sparks of Hope as well too, but there was something about that core essence of the party games that I really loved that the Rabbids nailed perfectly. Not that they couldn't work in other genres, but I was missing that, and it would have been cool if they came out simultaneously, which both party games for Rabbids and that game, which they kind of did in a sense with the Switch Rabbids party game made by their China division for Ubisoft, which I have, and I played a bit of it, but a lot of it I think is reused from previous Rabbids games. It doesn't feel as wholly unique compared to them. Not a bad game at all, just I think could have had more time in the oven and such too with that. But anyways. I love those games growing up. I eventually got interested in wanting to check out the Rayman games with Rayman Origins and Legends, which are really fun. A brand new Rayman Raving Rabbids party game would be awesome because they had a lot of love and effort put into them too. I loved all the music sections too, where you could play different instruments, and just all the different games were really unique, using the Wii Remote's, I think, capabilities really well. And just all of the different controllers at the time that they utilized their different gimmicks. And I think the Switch, too, with its mouse capabilities, it seems like you can come up with a lot of really fun and unique, I think, games for that overall. So I'm not sure. Well, I'm crossing my fingers how that could work. I guess going back real quick to Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. I think using mouse controls in that could also be interesting too for like UI intuitivity, like how the Wii U had that with the touchscreen. So yeah. Now getting into some third-party stuff, more just like I did with Rabbids. So I love Sega and Sonic especially too. So Sega, during the Game Awards a while back, had this big initiative that they've been trying to push with a lot of their old series they're trying to bring back, and just having new entries. We've had new Monkey Ball games for quite a few years too. Another typical Sega franchises like Yakuza, Sonic, etc. But never to the degree to where we're getting so many different franchises just coming back. So we're getting Crazy Taxi coming back. We're getting Golden Axe. There's Jet Set Radio, and more. And I believe Shinobi as well too. So I think all of those games have a really high chance to be on the Nintendo Switch 2. For sure, because Sega and Nintendo have a great relationship. And I think the Switch 2 will be pretty powerful, I think, as well. And yeah, and then that also ties into Sonic Racing Crossroads, which is also coming out, which I also love Sonic. It's one of my other favorite franchises. Maybe even a Sonic Adventure 2 remake, if Sega wants to pull, if they don't want to pull any punches with that. I think that would be cool, because that's, that ties into, I think, the success from the Sonic Movie 3 hype and stuff too, but we'll have to wait and see. I've heard rumors of Sonic Heroes and some other games that also have a high chance of also returning too. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see there too. But yeah, I love Crazy Taxi. I played that in the arcades a lot as a kid too, and also it'd be cool to experience all these other games on the Switch also. So yeah, I can't wait to see what they do with that. So can't wait for that. I think that would be really cool. All right. So the next game is Nintendo Land 2, actually. So big fan of the Wii U. I know it wasn't very successful, and Nintendo didn't promote it as well as they could have, and the gamepad and such like that. But I love Nintendo Land a lot. I thought it was really unique and just stuck out compared to a lot of other types of party games. The asynchronous nature of it, where you could use the gamepad and Wii remotes in tandem with each other to utilize different types of tasks, like a Mario Party minigame and such. And all of them are really just really fun and replayable, and I still play a lot of it to this day with friends and family. So I think it also shows up the hardware of the system well. I think you could come up with some fun games with mouse controls and other capabilities with the Joy-Cons. And yeah, it's just a big celebration, and especially with Nintendo having their own theme parks for Universal and Donkey Kong Land and things like that too, which also ties back into my 3D Donkey Kong game theory, where that could easily have another game in that series. So yeah, I think that would be cool as well. But yeah, Nintendo Land 2, just having just great, replayable, fun party games on Switch 2 would be awesome, which we did have on Switch 1, but it would be cool to see some more casual, I think, just fun games where people at any skill level could really enjoy them. Yeah, and just has a lot of replayability overall too as well. Hopefully, maybe it could be a potential pack-in game, or Nintendo has something else up their sleeve for pack-in games. I know they really only did that for the Wii U and the Wii, but it's a possibility that could happen. I know they skipped out on that for the Switch, which was unfortunate, because 1-2 Switch I don't think was the killer app. I think a lot of people could have hoped it would have been, like Wii Sports and Nintendo Land is, but maybe the Switch 2 will surprise us there. So Nintendo Land 2 I think would be really cool. Yeah, and then going back to the Switch a bit again too, just to preface, I liked what Nintendo had at the launch of the Switch, and I was very excited. And I do enjoy my Switch a lot overall. Over the years, though, I think, objectively looking at it too, I think I still like previous consoles more, but it definitely did have a pretty decent and solid library of games from a lot of franchises that it satisfied. some I wish more than others, which is pretty evident in this video that you're listening to. So where I'm getting at with that is Snipperclips, which was a launch title for the Switch. And I love when Nintendo would have a lot of these smaller games to go into coincide with their larger releases, which Breath of the Wild, which was one of them, because it did a Twilight Princess situation to where both simultaneously released on the GameCube and the Wii, and then the Wii U and the Switch for Breath of the Wild. So, yeah, a new Snipperclips would be awesome. I love puzzle games too, and it was really fun to have this co-op kind of experience with somebody else, which I really enjoyed overall. And I don't think the developers of that game have been working on too much recently, so I think that could be a possibility. Or Nintendo could push more smaller games and allowing indie teams to use their IPs in creative and fun ways. I think that would just mean more games for the consumer and just more fun and creative experiences. So new Snipperclips would be incredible, and I think there's a lot you could do with that. So yeah, that'd be cool alongside other indie games and such too. So yeah, the next game and project I want to talk about would actually be in regards to Mario's 40th anniversary. So as of this year, it's been 40 years since Mario has been released for Super Mario Brothers in particular, which is crazy to think about. And for me personally, it's just kind of wild to see him just come so far and have so many incredible games that have released that I enjoy. I love like Mario Sunshine and Mario Baseball and a bunch of other games that I'll get into. And what I think Nintendo could do with that is, I think, release a lot of different types of Mario games in the pipeline. So that could be, of course, the brand new 3D Mario, which we've not gotten one since Odyssey, and Sunshine's actually my favorite out of all the 3D Marios overall. I thought all the other ones were solid enough, kind of. I didn't really love 64 very much at all. I did like Galaxy enough, but I preferred the more Sunshine kind of take on it, and that being also my first 3D Mario game, which was Sunshine. Galaxy 2 was solid enough. I do really like 3D World. Odyssey was fun for one playthrough, and then I got kind of bored with it, and it didn't feel very replayable, I think, compared to maybe Sunshine and some other ones. So that, I know that could be a bit of a controversial statement, but that's just how I feel. And don't really care, to be honest. So yeah, 3D Mario would be really cool. And I hope it's really replayable and just unique like other types of games in those series. So that's cool. I think that has a possibility to be shown and released this year, especially with the anniversary. New Mario Maker I'd love to see too. I love the first two games a lot, and having all the different capabilities to be able to use the mouse feature, I think, has a lot of potential for Mario Maker 3. And with Super Mario Bros. Wonder coming out a while back, for a few years ago, you can implement that as a new gameplay style. Maybe use the Wonder Seed or Flower and have different gimmicks to be able to utilize stage and maybe badges from a Wonder and things like that too. So I think that could be really cool if they don't want to just do a straight up sequel to Wonder or another 2D Mario game right away again. So new Mario Maker would be a lot of fun, and I think improving the online capabilities. And Mario Maker 2 in a lot of ways did have everything a lot of people wanted, but I think having like a full-on 3D Maker would be cool as a new feature in that game as well, because I personally really love the different creative ways Nintendo came up with showing off different styles of gameplay in Mario Maker and different items you can get too. So I think sky's the limit with Mario Maker 3, and having a 3D Maker similar to like Game Builder Garage 2, but even more robust and advanced would be really awesome. So cross my fingers for that. And a new Mario Baseball, which I alluded to earlier. One of my favorite Mario Sports games. I love a lot of the different Mario Sports games, but that one in particular I really gravitated toward, had a lot of hours in. Super Sluggers, Superstar Baseball, both incredible games. Highly recommend them. The Mario cast is so vast and huge in so many different ways that they could have new mechanics and gimmicks, even more fleshed out story mode, different new characters that could be introduced, fun gimmicks. Namco and Nintendo have a fantastic relationship still, so I think that's plausible as well too. So can't wait to see the surprises they have in store for Mario's anniversary. Next game, again a bit smaller, that didn't do very well, but Codename Steam. I actually really loved Codename Steam on the Nintendo 3DS, made by Intelligent Systems, who made Paper Mario and a bunch of other franchises like Fire Emblem and such too. So that game, I think, had a lot of potential, and it has such a weird idea seeing Japan's view of like American, like Western culture, with like John Henry and President Lincoln and a lot of other kind of crazy characters. So I love to see some more niche stuff brought back. Nintendo's no stranger, I think, to bringing back franchises, even if they don't always sell incredibly well at first. So that'd be pretty cool. That'd be a nice surprise to see. Maybe even Intelligent Systems could take a break from their typical games they'd make for WarioWare, Paper Mario, especially with Thousand Year Door coming out last year, and Fire Emblem, like I mentioned too, and other franchises. So that'd be pretty cool. Next game, I'd love to see a brand new Pokemon Ranger game. Love them on the DS. Thought they were a lot of fun. I think there could be lots of potential for even more fleshed out game there. I know we have Legends ZA and some other projects coming out, but it'd be cool to see some spin-offs kind of get some love again too. I think that has a pretty high possibility there. So new Pokemon Ranger, I think that has some cool capabilities that they could expand on with multiplayer and different unique regions that they could have. You could use the mouse features on the Joy-Cons to be able to circle around Pokemon and come up with other unique gimmicks there too with that. So yeah, I think would make a lot of sense. Next one is more in terms of just I think applications. So I think Switch Online could have another system included, which I think could be GameCube and Dreamcast, because we have Sega Genesis ones. So why not have the GameCube, because we never had that yet on Switch Online. So I'm crossing my fingers if they could include something like that, because it just seems very obvious at this point, Nintendo. But Nintendo usually likes to do their own thing when it comes to that. But I'd love to see that. Especially the Dreamcast games never really also getting re-released like ever either too. And Nintendo and Sega have a great relationship again, like we've said. Why would they just have Sega Genesis games on that particular platform? So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts there. Another really kind of random one, it might seem like, GoldenEye 007, the Wii remake specifically. And it also came out on 360 and PS3, remade from that game. So we have GoldenEye already on like Switch Online, but I love the Wii remake that Activision and Eurocom did. I thought that game was incredible. I thought it was a lot of fun. Had a great online multiplayer. Both campaign, story mode campaign, and just multiplayer in general. So that one would be awesome. I'd love to see that return as well too. And Activision also has a great relationship with Nintendo, and they're going to be having a lot of games released on Switch too also. So yeah, that'd be really cool. It has a possibility to return. Speaking of things to return, Flipnote Studio. I loved seeing all the creative works people would have on Flipnote for the 3DS and DS. So I think having that return in some capacity would be awesome, to see the community have all these creative animations, and it's just a great way for people to get their foot in the door to make different animations. It has such a great niche community. I think Nintendo really lost the chance on even promoting that further, because the 3DS, they didn't really even promote it very well at all. And the community's still pretty lively now, even like with memes and things like that too. People still like to reference, and it's one of my childhood experiences as well too, for like applications they could bring back. So yeah, that'd be awesome. Kind of tied back into GoldenEye a bit again. Rare Replay, I think, would be cool. Microsoft and Nintendo have a great relationship together, and the Rare Replay collection is going to be 10 years old as of this year. So I think that has a high chance to maybe finally go to other platforms. And Nintendo and Rare obviously have a great relationship too, through history. So maybe Microsoft will throw us a bone there. I know the Master Chief Collection people have talked about, but which I think would definitely be cool too. But I feel like that one would be a surprise. I think people would really appreciate it. Yeah, the next game I had was Splitting Fiction, actually. So I just played It Takes Two a few years ago, or a year ago, and I really loved it. I thought it was a really fun and creative co-op adventure game with so many great surprises, and I'm really excited about the new game, and it'd be cool to be able to play that on Switch too. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had about that. The next one I had might be also pretty random. A new Tom and Jerry fighting game. They had a GameCube game that was a lot of fun. You could play with up to 4 players, very Power Stone inspired 3D arena fighter, and they had a Looney Tunes game come out, so Warner Brothers still is down for trying different series to bring back for cartoons and stuff like that for licensed games, and yeah, I think it'd be a lot of fun. Very underrated game. I'd highly recommend playing it if you've not. Tom and Jerry War of the Whiskers is what I'm referring to. Cool. And the next game is Eternal Sonata. So that was a game on the 360 and PS3 that I really enjoyed. It's a fun RPG action/turn-based by Tricrescendos, and they've made different RPGs and such as well. Yeah, it has multiplayer actually, so you can play with friends during battles and such too, and it's just a really great and creative game, and it's never been remade yet, and I think that has a possibility with a lot of RPGs coming back and being more popular than ever before now. So yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. All right, and then the next thing would be actually another random one. Nintendo used to have something called WiiWare, where they would have a lot of different games be WiiWare exclusive digitally. So I think having Strong Bad's Cool Game for Attractive People, which was an old web series, Homestar Runner, and email series where there's a character named Strong Bad who would type emails and such too, and answering fan stuff. And there was a Cool Game series that Telltale made of multiple episodes about his different escapades. That was really funny and kind of quirky, random, very much humor of the era and times. But yeah, I think that has I think it'd be really cool to see them bring back in some capacity as well. A port of those games too. And yeah, I know, super random game, but I really enjoyed that playing that. That was my first exposure to Strong Bad as well too, growing up, which is cool. Awesome. And the next game, because they still are around, so Big Fish Games has made Mystery Case Files games, which are point and click adventure, find the object in the picture type games, which are really fun. And they've worked with Nintendo before. They actually had an exclusive game called the Malgrave Incident on the Nintendo Wii, which is an exclusive Mystery Case Files game. So another smaller scaled game, I think, has a high chance to show up too. So if you've never played the Mystery Case Files games, they're really fun to play, especially Malgrave Incident in particular, with a friend. Has multiplayer and stuff like that too. So just a great casual game that I think could work on both levels for different fans. So yeah, that's a pretty cool one that I think could come back. The next one I had was Conduit 3, or a remake of 1 and 2, or either or. So Conduit was a game by High Voltage Software and Sega. So it was basically a game that was Nintendo's Halo, pretty much, or actually, excuse me, Sega's Halo. Where it was this sci-fi just shooter overall too. It was a lot of fun. So it had a cool, unique story about conspiracies and things like that too. It had some fun multiplayer and online multiplayer features, and had a survival horde type mode. And yeah, just great local multiplayer overall too, and it was really replayable and fun. And High Voltage Software still exists and makes games. So I think that could be one that could be brought back as well. Another thing that I also personally want to, that I grew up with, a new Bakugan game. Nintendo had a whole Bakugan presentation years ago on the Switch that didn't do, unfortunately, very well to tie in with the new show. And there's a current new show with Bakugan that could definitely get a lot of love and recognition, I think, too, with a brand new game. And the style of the first Bakugan game, preferably, where you collect the different characters too, and you can throw them on gate cards and all these different things to tie into the mechanics of Bakugan overall. So that one would be awesome. And if you grew up playing those games, they are a treat, and I definitely recommend checking them out as well too if you have not. All right, and then the next thing I'd like to see is a brand new Runbow game. So Runbow was a game on the Wii U which was a big collection of indie franchises coming together, kind of like Smash Brothers, where it was like a 2D side-scrolling, like platforming, like racing game essentially, where you race to the end of these different unique stages, and has a full story mode campaign where you can play different levels and different themes and things like that too, which was cool. But yeah, I think with the indie games being more popular than ever before, and 13AM games are still around and making different franchises, I'd love to see a sequel of that. Maybe with even more just content and mechanics added to it as well too, because the backgrounds would actually change concurrently as you're playing through the levels. And depending on the color of the background, the solid color of it is what platforms will disappear. So you can't jump on a blue platform anymore if the background becomes blue. So yeah, another great, I think, hidden gem that could come back also. All right. So speaking of great relationship with Nintendo overall, I think Persona 1, specifically the PSP remake, I think could have a chance. We've been seeing a lot of Persona remakes recently, and also them being pushed onto Nintendo systems. And Atlus and Sega and Nintendo have an awesome relationship, and other games from them could show up too, like Metaphor and such. But that would be one of my personal favorites, because I grew up with that game on my PSP, and that being one of my first games I ever played as well too. And there's no stranger to bringing PSP games also to Switch. With other franchises that have been PSP exclusive before too. I believe in the last Nintendo Direct there was from Bandai and such. So yeah, brand new remake of the first Persona PSP game would be awesome. All right, and then for the last of the game section would be Beautiful Joe, but specifically Beautiful Joe Red Hot Rumble. So that game was kind of like this fun, like platforming party, like beat 'em up kind of game, like kind of like Smash Brothers, like fighting game where you can interact and fight other characters within the different Beautiful Joe series. And it was a big story mode too as well, which was a lot of fun. Yeah, really underrated. People always talk about the main beat 'em up mainline games, but it's a perfect party game that I think anyone can jump in and enjoy. And yeah, I don't think it got as much love, I think, as it could have deserved, I would say. So yeah, highly recommend that game as well too. And I believe 20 years it's been since the last entry in that particular game. That could be possibly brought back, especially with Okami coming out and the original developers working with Capcom again, which would be cool. So yeah, that's all the games I wanted to talk about. So I'm gonna just talk real quick about console features and just general things I want to see maybe brought up throughout the Direct. So I'd love to see more stuff, of course, showing off about the mouse capabilities and what that could mean for Switch 2. Hopefully maybe a tech performance and graphic upgrade if you have Switch 1 games playing on Switch 2 for free if you already own the games. That'd be really nice, and a seamless way to be able to integrate that Nintendo could hopefully do. Next would be a better wireless range in handheld mode. I feel like the older Nintendo systems like the DS and the 3DS had a much better range when you'd be playing with friends. I feel like the Switch is not very good. It has a pretty weak chip, it feels like, when you're playing in handheld mode with other people. You have to be pretty close to them, or else the signal, I feel like, could drop. I don't know if later iterations of the Switch fixed that, but at least in my experience, it's felt like that, unfortunately. So that would be really awesome if that's something they could do. Kind of, I think, similar, I believe, to like PS4 and PS4 Pro Enhanced. How likely is that for Nintendo to do? I'm not really sure, but we'll have to wait and see. So that would be really nice. I think another huge thing would be return of Street Pass, or something just to give people an incentive to play their Switch in handheld mode more. Because you could have your Switch brought around with you, and you could pass by different people or have other cool connectivity things to where it could affect different games or applications on your Switch, or maybe even Mii characters running around. There you go. You could have Mii characters running around on the main menu on Switch from people you passed. That'd be really awesome. From people out in the wild. So some sort of feature there would be really cool to return. I would really like that. So something to that avail would be cool. The next thing would be a built-in voice chat. So we have the voice app for Nintendo, but we never had it actually built into the Switch itself. So having voice chat and like voice party stuff like that, like Xbox 360 and things, would be really cool. On the Switch to just make it a much more seamless experience when you're on the go, and you can connect headphones and all that other good stuff with that too. So make it easy to do voice chat, Nintendo. That'd be really cool. Or give the people options at least too. And if you're worried about like kids and stuff like that, you could have parental controls and things too. So that'd be awesome. Or if not, people could just use Discord and other platforms also. But it'd just be convenient to have that. Next is the big one I think so many people have wanted forever. Themes with music and folders, just like 3DS had. I think pretty simple. Just adds a lot of personality and flair to your Switch compared to other people's, and just would make a lot of sense. So just Nintendo, please add that. And the Switch 2 should be pretty powerful. I know it's all about being snappy and minimalist, and I like the really cool and nice charm from previous Nintendo systems, but come on. I think that would make a lot of sense. And it would be such easy money for Nintendo, but we'll see. Next would be the internet browser. So Wii U and 3DS and other systems have had that. I feel like that just makes so much sense to just have on the Switch conveniently instead of rework browse that we've had to do before to get it to work. Just that would make sense. I think better Mii integration. I think that's something that is going to happen, I hope, because maybe they're going to push more Mii-related games. So yeah, maybe having Mii's painted out on your menu in different applications, being able to be utilized in games again. Just having an avatar system is really cool. So much so that other companies, I think, took inspiration from that, like Microsoft with their avatars and such too. So bring them back, Nintendo, because I know they were associated with the Wii and the Wii U, and you wanted to kind of move past some of that, but they still were used on Switch, and if you're still going to have them, you might as well embrace them more. So just bring me back in a much bigger capacity. Next would be, I talked a bit about like packing games, but like little fun little applications again, like you could on the 3DS. So maybe some fun like mouse games, kind of like AR games had on the 3DS, where you can use the AR cards and things of that nature. So just having fun little games would be really cool to play again for free, where you don't have to buy it. Just kind of screams the charm of Nintendo, where they include things they didn't have to, but are nice to have if you don't have a game yet or just want to play around with the system at launch. So that would be cool. Next would just be, I mentioned it again earlier, just easier transfer of data from Switch 1 to Switch 2. The Wii U did that with the Wii, and that was cool and all, but just make it more seamless. If it's going to be a micro SD card in the new Switch, just make that really easy to transfer stuff over. They probably will, I would hope, with the save cloud data. Nintendo's been getting better and better at being more and more modern. Not perfect yet, but they're getting there. So that'd be nice. And then the last couple things, I think some sort of social media presence that Nintendo could do in terms of like Miiverse again, or introducing new social media, because they got rid of the Facebook and Twitter integration on the Switch. So that signals to me that maybe Nintendo wants to have their own type of social media again. So I think that would be really cool. So I'm crossing my fingers that could happen. But yeah, that was pretty much the majority of everything I wanted to go over. And I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble about my thoughts and things that I think should show up in the Nintendo Switch 2. Obviously not everything, but just a random compilation of stuff like that as well. And to end it off, thank you for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I think the Switch will also be $3.99, but we'll see. Take care, guys.